Very excited. Good morning. Good morning. This is Scott Buckholz, your host for this morning's live Zoom National Property Tour. Also, my co-host Yaz Hawk is on as well. We want to welcome you guys out to our tour. We have these every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we bring out one of our featured investors from our community. Today, we're going to be in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania markets. And Hoan Thai will be coming out here shortly. I'll be introducing him next week. Just to guys.
Hey Scott, you're muted.
We appreciate you guys on today. This is Scott Buckholz again. Welcome everybody. This is our live Zoom National Property Tour, and we appreciate you guys getting on. We do these every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we feature one of our investors from our national community from somewhere in the United States. Today, we're going to bring out Hoan Thai from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And next Saturday, we're going to have Hawaii doing their featured property tour. And then the next Saturday, we're going to be coming to you from Los Angeles. So again, we're always featuring an investor from somewhere in our community. My name is Scott Buckholz. I'm a full-time real estate investor. I've been a part of this national community of investors for a little over 5 years. I'm currently doing real estate deals in the state of Kentucky, Ohio, and Kansas. I have rental properties. I also do fix and flips, and I also do new construction. And again, we're going to be bringing out Hoan here in just a second. If you guys, if we could check, or you could come on, let's check your video to make sure we got you okay.
Hey.
There, we see you. There you go. There's that smile.
Yeah.
Welcome. You bet. So guys, just before I kick it off and turn it over to Hoan, I want to make sure you guys know kind of the little housekeeping today. We want to keep everybody on mute. That will help with background noise. Also, we will keep this to within an hour. We usually end it just a few minutes before 12 o'clock Eastern time. Right after this, we have an introduction meeting, which is basically we'll kind of expand on a lot of what Hoan will talk about today with our community of investors. And that's on an actual different link. So whoever invited you out today, get with them, and you can send them a text during this property tour if you want to see or be a part of that. And they can actually get you connected starting at 12 o'clock Eastern. So without further ado, Hoan, I'd love to bring you out and get this going.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for coming out today. So if you guys are on your cell phone, just swipe across and make sure that I am on your full screen. Or if you are on a computer, you can pin me so that you can keep this screen as a full screen, because I'm going to be doing everything from this screen. I'm not going to be doing a share screen that dominates your whole entire computer. So just pin this so that you can have me full screen the whole time. All right, with that, let's get started. For those who don't know me, my name is Hoan Thai, and I am the founder of Hoan Zone, a YouTube channel helping you multiply the assets you own. And I do that because I want people to find that financial freedom and flexibility that they've always been looking for. Real estate is how I've been able to find my own flexibility within my life and my schedule. And I don't necessarily love real estate. I'll start with that. I don't love real estate, but I love the real estate business. And there's a big difference between the two. One, people like the bricks and the sticks. I don't really care for that. I love the business model. I love that I can use other people's money to buy assets that make me richer over time and can produce passive income. And then when I'm ready, I can also use these assets to retire on, either through the cash flow. I can refinance, pull money out, or I can just sell the property. And all of the while, I have tax benefits. So there's all of these great reasons to invest in real estate. You don't have to love real estate to do real estate and to benefit from it. So that is my background, I've also been an investor for the last 10 years. I went to school. I did what everybody was supposed to do, right? I went to college and I got that good job. And then while at that job, I was really bored and I decided to go back and get my master's degree in financial engineering. And with all of that, I was just like, is this really the life for me? And I realized it was not the life for me. So I decided to venture off on my own. And it wasn't until I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad that I determined that real estate would be something that I need to incorporate into my life to create the life that I actually want. All right, with that, let's get into this deal because I want to keep it in the time frame that we said we were going to keep it in. All right, so let's take a look at the property. Here, this is the very first day that I went to go see the property. And check this out. Is this cork? I've never seen a cork wall, right? Very weird. And then here, we're going to see the kitchen, right? The kitchen here is an old kitchen. Now, this woman that is selling the property, that's the woman who's selling the property. And that other fella, that was the wholesaler. And the wholesaler, or I'm sorry, the woman lived in this house for the last 25, 30 years, did no upgrades. See the carpet? That carpet's been there for the last 25 years. Here we are, we're going into the basement here. We're checking out the basement. This woman right now is pointing out that there's a water leak. So when I look at that, I'm thinking to myself, oh man, this property might need a French drain. But I just put that in the back of my mind and I'm calculating as I'm walking through this property. Now, as I walk into the back of the property here, I'm very happy because I see the water heater. I see the heater and I'm like, oh, they're in good condition. Then I see the washer and dryer and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm getting really excited. And then I'm looking at this panel box and I'm like, oh, this is an amazing panel box. I'm just getting so excited because this house doesn't really need that much work. Structurally, it doesn't need that much work. Mechanically, I'm just like, oh, this is the perfect house. So here we are. We're going to go upstairs. We're going to check out the rest of the house. Now, when we go upstairs, she's going to show us the bedroom and I'm like, okay, looking around and I'm like, wow, what are these marks on the walls? And then she's showing us in the closet there that there is a leak of sorts. And then you see the marks on the ceiling there. I'm like, what is this? And I walk over here. Is this wallpaper? Is this wallpaper? And then I touch it. Yep, it's wallpaper. Sure is. But here's what's funny. She comes right behind me. She touches it too. I don't know why she's touching it. She lived there for 25 years. So here we are in the bathroom. I paused it here, right? Why is there a gap between the sink and the wall? Oh, because there's a vent right there. What a terrible place to put a vent because it eats up all of that vanity, right? It eats up all that vanity space. I look into the shower. I'm looking at the tiles and I'm like, okay, this looks good. You know, not bad. The color, don't love it, but what can I do? Could I reglaze it? Could I redo it? And then as I'm walking out, I go, wait, what kind of floor is that? Is that carpet? Is that carpet in the bathroom? Oh, yeah. Okay, whatever. Hey, everybody, they got their own thing. So the rest of the house is a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. We're in the other bedrooms. I'm kind of zipping through this one real quick. But I'm just looking around and I noticed in the ceiling, there's no light fixture. And then this room shows me the hardwood floor underneath the carpet because this room did not have carpet. I'm looking at the floors and I'm like, if this is a representation of the floors all the way around the house, then we are in good shape. So let's talk about these floors. Let's rip up all the carpets. So when we rip up all the carpets underneath, fantastic flooring. Right. So these guys, they're pulling up all the nails, all the screws, all the trash, anything that may cause the sanding to go bad. This guy, he's taking out all the hard, rough pieces. This might have gotten wet during left the window open. And then he had to cut the pieces out and replace them. And now after he's replaced them, he is sanding it all. And you can see right here, even he replaced this piece by simply flipping it over. And I was just like, oh, well, that's genius. So he flipped it over and now he's sanding the room and it's looking good. I've actually never gotten floors finished in a property. I typically like just going vinyl, but these floors were just in such great condition that I was like, you know what? I got to use them. So I got these floors sanded for the first time and voila, boom, boom, and boom. They look beautiful, in my opinion, of course, right? But they look beautiful. Feel free to put in the chat because I am reading the chats as well. Feel free. Let me know how you feel about what you're seeing as you're seeing it. All right, next step is the kitchen. So I got the tape measure or the measuring tape, right? And I'm measuring all the aspects of the kitchen. And because you need to know the aspects or the dimensions of the kitchen in order to design a new kitchen, right? So this is the old kitchen in all of its glory. And then I go, wait, what in the world is this little soffit? Is there a duck in there? I don't know. How can I find out? Well, obviously you got to pop it open, right? So I got my little hammer and I started going to work. And then, you know what? I found out that there was nothing in there. So we ripped the kitchen out. We ripped the kitchen out completely. There it is. No kitchen. Then we started designing. And so there's a design. And then voila, here's the virtual, right? Here's the virtual. And then we go into voila, real life, reality. There is reality happening. And then we put the countertops on top. First was just the cabinets, now countertops. And now we got the backsplashes. This picture was taken yesterday. So there is no more progress beyond this. We do have the, you can kind of see it. Oh, how do I do this? Here we go, over there, in the shadowy living room over there. We have the stove, which is going to go there, and then we're going to put the microwave right into that slot there, right? So that is that. We got a question. How many coats of poly were on the floors, and did you have to tint it at all? The answer is we did 2 coats for the first day. We sanded it all, and then we coated it, let it dry, and then we came back the next day, and then we sanded it again with a very fine sandpaper, sanded it again, and then put the final coat on, let it dry for 24 hours, and that's what you got. And no tint, no tint. I wanted the actual color of the floors to shine, so that's what we got. All right, so let's take a look at the kitchen job. I'm gonna send it to you, Hoan.
Hey, Hoan, we don't hear anything.
All right. All right, so there was no audio there. Let me see, how can I do this in a different way? I have an idea. Let me keep on moving on, and then I will get back to that. So let me jump ahead. All right, so let's take a look at the full bath. So the full bath, remember, it had that vent, and I was like, I hate this bathroom. I tried to go cheap and replace things and glaze things, but I was just like, you know what? This house deserves a better bathroom. So here you go. I made the bathroom nice, right? So I think it was a better use, a much better use of the money to just rip it all out and redo it. The tenant is going to love it, and this is one of those things that catches the eye. This is going to be a fix and hold, and so this bathroom, I believe, is going to attract a better tenant quality. Now, in talking about bathrooms, let's keep on going. Here in the basement, this was a screenshot of the video that I took earlier. So this space, I was like, what can I do with it? So I built a bathroom, a half bathroom right in there. Here's a better picture of it from further away. So we ripped down all of the paneling, and then here you go. Here is the actual bathroom. So I think it turned out well. I don't know. You tell me, what would you guys have done? Would you guys have installed a half bathroom there? In my opinion, the cost of the half bathroom is going to be less than what you're going to get in terms of the value when it goes to refinance, right? So this half bathroom, if let's say you're renting out to a couple people with tenants and roommates, now they don't have to share that one bathroom. They can have 2 bathrooms. Now they won't be able to shower here, but you don't always have to shower. All right, let's keep on going. I was going to show you this pantry thing. So I want you guys to just watch the pantry, and let's see if I can make this work. All right, guys, can you guys hear me? Put in the comments. Can you guys hear me? Yes or no? Yes or no? Can you guys hear me? Yes, no, yes, no, still no. You can hear me though, right? You guys can hear me? Yes? Okay. All right. So you guys can hear me verbally. So I am going to do my best acting, and I'm going to say what the cute guy in the video is saying. All right. So let's try to restart this. All right, here we go. All right. This wasn't here at all. This wall went all the way to this other wall. It bumped into there. And then actually, let me try one more thing. Stop screen sharing and then screen share with audio. Here's the funny part. I am not screen sharing. Let's see. Let me let me see if I can redo this real quick. Let me see. Sorry about this. You know, you try to be perfect and then you mess it up sometimes. Anyway, you know what? I you know what? I'm just going to talk through it. So here we go. So what I'm essentially saying here is I added a pantry where there wasn't a pantry. It was just a flat wall. And the reason I added the pantry is because there was not one. And a pantry adds so much comfort to a property. It adds a lot of comfort. It adds a lot of space. And then this is going to cause the tenant to want to live there long term because they're going to be comfortable. And I'm holding this broomstick because I'm saying things like this broomstick can go right into that pantry, and you should include it if you can. Make sure that you lay it out where it doesn't affect things like kitchen tables and or dining room sets or anything like that. But this space right here was perfect for a pantry, and people loved it. Oh, and I'm back. Hello. Yeah, so that pantry was a great addition to the place because it allowed for more space for longer living. When people have all of their stuff there, here's something that you want to think about. It's called switching cost. Back in the day, cell phone companies didn't allow you to switch your cell phone number easily. If you wanted to go from AT&T to Sprint or Verizon, T-Mobile, anything like that, you would have to go and get a whole brand new number and then tell all your friends and family what your brand new number is. That was a huge switching cost. And people didn't switch to different carriers because they didn't want to go through that work. In, in the same kind of vein or same idea, when you add a pantry and you add a lot of storage spaces, people can buy a whole bunch more stuff. And when they do that, there's going to be much higher switching cost when they try to move. If you want to keep people in your place, make them super comfortable. Make them an Amazon addict. Have them buy everything. And then this way, you don't have to worry necessarily about them moving because the headache of them moving is going to be just too much. And they're going to be like, nope, I don't have enough activation energy to get over this hurdle. So that is one thinking, but also because I do actually want the tenant to be super comfortable, super comfortable. All right, so that is the presentation. Let me go through that that one video that I wanted you guys to check out real quick. I will go through. I will talk this one out again, right? So I'm just talking about this kitchen here was something that I installed. Here's the old kitchen just to compare and contrast between the two. And for the most part, it's the same layout, and which made it easy in terms of plumbing and everything else. But the real reason for this video is because I wanted to talk about the floors. Okay, in a second, I'm going to go into the floors after I keep waving my hands talking about the cabinets. But now, here I'm pointing at the floors, and I'm saying that I picked vinyl floors to go over the floors that were in the kitchen and in the living room. And I brought it all the way across into the living room because I wanted it to match. And also the vinyl floors are super resilient. They are waterproof, which is perfect for a kitchen, and they are cheap. And I'm back. That always catches me off guard. So I am back. So I put the vinyl floors. I had hardwood floor there that I could have sanded and then replaced in the living room, but then I would have to worry about whether the living room floors would match the paint on the walls as well as match the floors in the kitchen and all of that kind of stuff. So to alleviate all of that, I just laid this vinyl floor that I put in all of my properties, kind of think like McDonald's model, like franchise model, where it's the same system over and over and over. I use the same floors in all of my properties. This way, when I need floors, it's easy for me to just get the floors and put them in because I can always get the floors. So I go vinyl from front to back, from living room to kitchen. And then this way they also match the floors. And then the other thing that I do is I get lighting where it's 5000K. That's the color. It's going to be a really bright white. That 5000K is fantastic. When you do it that way, when you do the 5000K, the grays look more gray versus if you do a, say, 4000K, 3000K, 2600K, it's going to have a yellow tint, and that yellow tint makes a gray wall look brown. Guess how I found that out? Anyway, I'm sure you can figure that out. Make sure you have all of the pieces all connect, and through videos like this, through presentations like this, you get to learn things like that without having to make the mistake yourself. So there's plenty of properties where I made the mistake where I would get the ceiling fans where it had the LED bulb, which you could not change. And then that bulb often was a 3000K, which had a yellow tint, and that yellow tint made all my gray walls brown. So it made my property look terrible. And I would go as far as removing the ceiling fan just to put a old fashioned ceiling fan in where I can put the bulbs in and make sure that they were 5000K. The other option is to put bulbs in that change colors with a remote so that you give people the option if they wanted to change the color. But those are some considerations I want you guys to have when you guys are renovating your properties. All right, so let's go into this slide here. And so let's talk about the numbers. Why did I do this deal? How does this deal look? So I bought the property for $125,000. I rehabbed it for $25,000. Holding costs $2,000. Finance $5,000. Holding costs are things like your utilities, your taxes, your insurance while you hold the property. And your finance cost is the cost of the money. When you go to borrow the money, so the acquisition and the rehab, when I go to borrow that money has cost. And that was $5,000. I got private money for the acquisition. And believe it or not, you can get money from your life insurance policy for other things. Now, if you have a big enough life insurance policy, you can fund the whole thing with your life insurance money. My policies are not that large yet, so it's enough to fund some of this stuff, but not the whole thing. But that's another way, a creative way to finance deals that a lot of people don't know about. It's called infinite banking. And if you guys want to learn more, you can check out my YouTube channel. I'm sure I have some videos on infinite banking and how to use life insurance to fund some of your deals. That is one I don't hear enough people talk about. Oftentimes people, when they talk about something like this, they are just thinking hard money and that is it, or cash. I wanted to stimulate your brain to start thinking about other ways to finance your deals. So another way could be with self-directed retirement account. So if you know somebody with a self-directed retirement account, or you have a self-directed retirement account, you can also fund the deal with that money. Now, the ARV is 225. If you add up my all in, there is $68,000 in equity. And then let's say I was wrong with a couple of things, right? Even if this equity number went down to $50,000, think about that, guys. Like, this project probably is going to take me all of 3 months to complete. And in that 3 months, I could have $68,000, $50,000, whatever it is, right? Think about how long it would take in order for you to save that much money or increase your net worth in other ways, like by working at your job. All right, somebody needs to mute themselves.
Hey, Hoan, you're muted.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I got muted as well. All right, let's go back to it. So now, as I was saying, guys, here the ARV is 225. When you add up everything else and then you subtract it from the ARV, that's $68,000 in equity. Imagine how long it would take you guys to save that much money from your job or from whatever it is that you're doing. Saving your way to wealth is really difficult. I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's just really, really difficult. But here, I get to buy a property and then I get to have my contractors work on the property, and then I get to benefit from the net worth without using my own money, because this money can be borrowed, right? I can borrow all of this money from the different sources that I was saying. It could be a hard money lender. It could be private money lender. It could be from self-directed IRA. It could be from credit cards. It could be from a line of credit. It could be from a HELOC, and it could be from your life insurance policy. It could be from any one of those things, right? And then my net worth gets to increase by $68,000 in the span of 3 months without me having to do any of the work, which is fantastic, right? Which is fantastic. Now let's talk about the cash flow. So potentially I can rent it for $1,600. And if I really crank on that lever and cash out as much as possible, the mortgage will be $915. Expenses, $400. What does that include? The expenses could be utilities, taxes, insurance. Let me do it again. Taxes, insurance, utilities, vacancy management, and maintenance, right? I'm including all of that in the expenses for $400. And then this way, when things pop up, I have the money for it. A lot of people, they don't include those vacancy management or maintenance. They just say like, oh, I'm just going to count the utilities, taxes, and insurance because those are the hard costs. I don't want to count the soft costs. And then their cash flow is not correct. This cash flow bakes in all of those other things, all of those other expenses that I was talking about. So now cash flow wise, $285 a month, not a crazy amount of money. Totally understand. But if I bought 10 of these properties, that's $2,850 a month. Some people make that in a year, or I'm sorry, in a month. And then if I did 20 of these, then again, it just multiplies. And again, because I didn't use any of my money, I can multiply the assets that I own because I am not limited to money. There is so much money out there. You just have to figure out how to get that money and how to be attractive to the people with the money. And when I say attracted to the people with the money, that could be the bankers, that could be the hard money lenders, but also private money lenders and your credit card companies. So how can you have them give you more money? When's the last time you guys raised the limits on your credit cards? You may want to consider doing that, right? So again, $68,000 on one property. If I got 10 of them, I just raised my net worth by $680,000. You guys see how this just stacks and stacks and stacks? And also remember when I said in my expenses, I said property management. So if I have a property manager, I don't have to do any management work either, right? So I used other people's money and then I have my contractor fixing it up, right? And then I'm going to have my property manager leasing it out for the 1,600. And then I'm also in the expenses going to pay them to manage the property. And then I'm going to cash flow that. I get this and life is good. So I can focus on riding my bike and hanging out with my friends, hanging out with my family, going on vacation, doing whatever it is that I want to do, right? So the system is super simple. You just keep on buying properties. You got to find them. You got to fund them. You got to fix them. And then you got to finish them. That finish, right? That finish is to rent them out or to flip them. I like to keep everything because I want this equity and I want this equity to continue to grow over the years. Also, I want this cash flow every single month. I don't have to focus on selling things every single month because I have the cash flow coming in and the property manager handles everything else. So that is what I've been working on. And this is the latest property tour. I nailed this in 30 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat box and I will be around to answer questions. So I'm going to go back to the regular.
There you are. Wow, what an incredible property tour. Amazing.
Thank you, Scott.
Yes, yes. So if you could share a little bit, how long ago did you actually get started in investing and kind of you kind of led into it a little bit in the beginning about wealth and everything. What was the trigger for you to get really started into real estate investing?
Well, when I was working at my job, there was this thing that was happening and I didn't really understand it at the time, but I can put it into words now. I can put it into words now. It was my soul dying. Okay. While I was at work, my soul was dying every single day. And I just didn't like that feeling. And I didn't know what it was then, but I knew I needed to get out of here. I just needed to get out of that job. And I tell this to a lot of people, my boss threatened me while I was at work, right? My boss threatened me while I was at work. He said, Hoan, if you continue to work really, really hard, one day you will have my job. And I was like, oh, no, 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 no. I do not want that because that is just going to be more of the death of me. And I did not want that at all. So I knew I needed to get out of there. I just didn't know exactly how. I knew that maybe starting my own business would be my way out. That would be the key. Again, I just didn't know what to do. I started all kinds of different businesses and none of them really worked because I didn't have that full system from start to finish. With real estate, though, I was able to figure that out from start to finish. Again, find, fund, fix, finish. That's the start to finish. You got to find the property. You got to fund it. You got to find the money and then you got to fix it up and then you finish it. You either rent it out or you flip it. And that's it. That is it. That's the whole entire system. And it just made sense. It just made sense. I see a question in the chat and the question is, how did he get all his money? Let me read it exact. Where did he get his all-in money from? The all-in money came from private money, as well as life insurance, as well as credit cards, as well as my own money. So I can use multiple sources of money to buy it. I did not use hard money in this case because I had cheaper money, because I had raised money. And even if I didn't raise all of the money from my private lender, I had other sources of money, like I was saying, with my life insurance, as well as lines of credit. So make sure you set that up before you need the money. Okay. People don't like lending money to people who don't have money. People like lending money to people who don't need money. How ironic, right? This is like the rich get richer. Well, the people who need the money often don't get the money. So make sure you set up your systems, you set up your funding beforehand. Have those conversations with your hard money lender, with your private money lenders, with your bankers, with your credit card companies, and set up the money beforehand. I like to say, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready, right? Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Because when the deal comes fast and furious, you're going to need to be able to act because other people are ready to act. If you don't have your financing in place, then somebody like me who does have their financing in place will be able to close on that deal and quickly. While you're scrambling to try to make sure you got all your docs together, I've already got the money in the bank account. All I got to do is cut the check. So put yourself in that position, to win. And then this way, people are going to want to send deals to you over and over and over. That's the biggest game changer. Have your money correct before you need it. All right.
We also have a question. How many deals have you done so far?
Um, that I don't know, but I probably did like $4 million or something like that in deals. I only know that from like refinancing and all, but like in the last couple of years, maybe the last 4 years or so, like $4 million in deals. So if that gives you any indication, but um, that question often comes up, and I don't love that question only because I think that it sets the wrong expectation for people. Because if I told you I did 5 deals versus I told you I did 100 deals, it either too big or too small, or too easy or too hard, or all of that kind of stuff, right? Everybody's going to have their unique journey in this real estate game. Just focus on doing what it is that you need to do every single day. If you got to talk to more people, then go talk to more people. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Oh, he closed 100 deals. Oh, he closed 5 deals. Oh, he closed 20 deals. Who cares? How many deals did you close? And that's what you want to focus on. What are your indicators? What's your metrics that you are measuring for your own life? Just focus on that. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing, including me. Now, focus on when I'm giving you guys tips about how to do your refinance or your rehabs or anything like that. Focus on that 100%, but do not necessarily focus on how successful someone else is, or even worse, how unsuccessful you are. That is a terrible rabbit hole to get into, because that is just going to take you down this negative path, and you don't want to go down there. All right. We got another question I see. What did you use for flooring in the basement? Did you actually have any leaks? Is this a condo? HOA fees? This is not a condo. This is a single family home. There are no HOA fees. I am actually going to use that same vinyl floor that's in the living room and the kitchen. I'm going to put that in the basement as well. So it's going to have a nice finished look. And the leak, I found out after I tore everything up and I tore the walls down and I saw everything, I found that the leak was coming from outside in a big crack in the sidewalk. So anytime it rained heavy, there was enough water to get into that crack and then go down and go through the walls and onto the floor. So luckily for me, it was not hydrostatic pressure, which is where water comes from underneath and then goes up. And then I would have to install a French drain. This was coming from outside. So all we did was we fixed the cement by pouring, or the sidewalk by pouring cement into the crack. And then we waited and we just allowed heavy rains to come. And when we figured out that there was no more water coming in, we decided to paint the walls. And then now I'm going to lay the floors. So the floors are not down yet, but they will be very soon. All right. Any other questions in here? How much involvement do you have in the project when you have a GC? I have some input in terms of design and things like that, but for the most part, when you work with your guys, they should know what it is that you want. And so for the most part, 99% of it, he's on autopilot. And then I'm just kind of there going and taking selfies in front of the work as if I did anything. But really, that's the extent of it. And then I might design the kitchen and say like, okay, we're going to put the stove here or the sink here. And he might just say, look, we're going to do it here or here. So I don't have that much say. Maybe paint colors, but even then he already knows because it's in the system. I just use the Home Depot Bear paint in my Bear guy. He has all of the color codes and everything else. So that's it. I don't do too much. I just take selfies in front of the work as if I did anything. When you funded your first deal, were you all set up with investor money before you found the property, or did you happen upon a property and then make your monetary connections? All right, so this is a question of chicken or the egg. So Jen is asking, in my very first deal, did I already have the money laid out, or did I have to go scramble for the money after I found the deal? And the question, the answer for that particular deal, which my first deal, is both. How I was able to do my very first deal is I went to a lot of different seminars, and I stumbled upon a really great seminar that taught me how to do the BRRRR strategy before it was called the BRRRR strategy. For those who don't know what the BRRRR strategy is, that's where you buy a property and then you're going to renovate it. So BR, renovate it. And then you're going to rent it out after it's renovated. And then you're going to refinance it after you rented it out. And then the last R is repeat the whole process. So you're going to buy it, renovate it, rent it out, refinance, pull all your money back out, and then repeat that process over and over. In my very first deal, I was fortunate enough to meet this investor who had seminars going on, and I had just finished reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I had no idea which way to go. As soon as I finished Rich Dad Poor Dad, I actually called up a real estate a real estate agent friend of mine. And I said, hey, I'm going to be an investor now. I need you to send me all of your good deals. There are two problems with that. Two problems when I asked my agent friend to send me all the good deals. Problem number one, he had no idea what a good deal was, because a real estate agent often is not a real estate investor, and he was not an investor. He did not know what a good deal was. So whatever he sent me, I don't know what he was gauging, whether that was a good deal or not. So he sent me properties, and whether they were good deals or not, I don't know. And problem number two, with me calling him and saying, hey, send me all your good deals, right? First problem, he didn't know what a good deal was. Second problem, I didn't know what a good deal was. You know that last slide where I showed you all my numbers and rent and this and that, right? I didn't have that all flushed out. Also, there are more numbers that you have to take into consideration, like your DSCR, your debt service coverage ratios, and your LTVs from your lenders, right? I didn't have any of those things. And so I didn't know what I was looking at. How do I measure whether a deal is good or not if I don't have the right metrics to measure it against? It wasn't until I went to the seminar and I learned how to actually determine whether a deal is a deal or not. That is the biggest thing that all of you guys need to learn before you do deals, whether it's a good deal or not. But if you don't have the metrics, how can you answer that question? Do you just say, I like the paint color? Like, you got to know the metrics that you're measuring against in order to determine whether it's a good deal. So that's step number one for you guys. Learn that. And I learned that from the seminar. I learned that I need to check for the DSCR and whether or not I can get the financing at the end, the refinance at the end. And then also he introduced me, the leader of the seminar, the person who was teaching it, he introduced me to hard money lenders. So I was able to get a hard money loan for my very first deal. Now, this was 10 years ago, right? This was 10 years ago, very different climate. We had a lot of deals everywhere because the market had just crashed, but no money anywhere. So this hard money lender was charging 6 points and 16% interest. Kind of high, but he got the deal done. So I was able to buy a 6-unit apartment building as my very first deal. And I was able to get the money because he gave me that connection. So it was kind of both. I didn't know, I wasn't aware enough to know to raise money. I didn't have someone like me telling me to stay ready so I don't got to get ready. I didn't know about raising money. I didn't know any of these things. But now that you guys do, go do it.
Hello.
All right, let's mute everybody again. All right. Do you have an architect or designer to do your floor plan, 3D plan before you start your rehabs? No. No, because it's already laid out. It's already there. Like for the most part, it's cookie cutter. When I walk into a house, it's a living room. When I walk further, it's going to be the dining room and or kitchen. And then when you go upstairs, you got bedroom, bedroom, bathroom, bedroom. Same all the way around. I'm not necessarily changing walls. Some houses, sometimes I blow out walls, but all that does is just it opens up the walls or the house. And that's pretty much it. I don't have to go through the architect thing or the design, 3D design and all that kind of stuff. It's not that complicated because the houses are super simple. I just kind of follow that path. How did you find your team or necessary people to complete the whole rehab? You keep asking for referrals until you get lucky and you find somebody that really works out for you. And then your job now is to keep that person busy, and then you want them to love you and only want to work with you. So I have actually helped my contractor become a real estate investor. I've helped him buy a couple of properties since he's been working with me. And so he's forever grateful for our relationship. And so he always wants to do my deals and he always puts me as a priority because I'm always trying to help people with learning to become an investor. So I have helped him become an investor, and then he's been like key in my growth. So it's been a good thing. How did I find him? I just kept asking for referrals until I found one. All right, and then let's see. Next one. How did the trainings and connections from the group enhance your real estate business? So we are all in a real estate group, and like Scott was saying earlier, there is a group that you can become a part of. The real estate group actually has been monumentous to my growth because I was able to find the deal, right? I was able to find the deal from somebody in the group. Often that's how I find people. And then within the group, I was able to find private money, which helped me with a lot of projects in the past. And then I was able to find my contractor from a referral from somebody within the group. And let's see, I've been able to find tenants from within the group. So the group gave me all of the bits and pieces that I needed to really grow this business, as well as the knowledge I needed to be a confident real estate investor. All right, another question is, how many years have you been with the group? You've mentioned several times the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Sounds like it was a catalyst for you to get started. But how did you find the group and what made you start with them? So I had a friend of mine who was in the group before me, and he recommended I join the group since he saw that I had an interest in real estate. And so he said, hey, do you want to come and join the group? And I said, okay. And then I went to go check it out. And at first I was like, no, you know what? I don't need to join this group. And then I was afraid of the cost, right? Let's be honest. So the group has a cost, and I didn't want to pay any money because I was being cheap. So I'm being completely honest and transparent. I was being cheap, and I was also being a little egotistical because I was thinking, I already do deals. I already know everything. Why do I need to join a group like this? I'm already doing stuff, right? I'm already doing stuff. What do I need this for? And then I at first said no to my friend who introduced me to the group. And I was like, no, not interested. And then next month, I don't know if he just had short-term memory or what, but he was just like, hey, Hoan, do you want to come check out this group? And I was like, all right. So I went to the group, and it was the same exact group from before. And then I looked at it from a different angle, though, right? I looked at it from a completely different place in my life because we're always evolving, we're always growing. And I said to myself, Hone, every time you invested in yourself and you joined a group or a seminar or something like that, you've been able, I'm sorry, you've been able to make a lot more money from that investment than the investment cost. Like you've been able to do a ton. It's like, Hone, imagine if you didn't go to that first seminar, you'd probably still pretend like you were a real estate investor, but owned no properties. So I looked at it again and I said, you know what? I'm going to join. What do I got to lose? Every time I bet on myself, that bet always wins. It's better than betting on like some kind of random cryptocurrency and hoping it goes up and then it just stays down and stays flat for a long time. Me, I will compound on that return year after year after year. And so I joined. And this was 5 years ago. And since then, I've done deal after deal after deal after deal. And I've been doing deals that I didn't know I could do. And now I'm doing, sometimes I'm just doing deals like, I'm just like, the other day I posted, I was like, I did a deal. I woke up, I did a deal, I bought groceries, and like it was no big deal. Like I came home, it's like my wife's like, "So how'd it go?" I was like, "Yeah, I went, went to the store, I picked up the eggs, I picked up the milk, and then I picked, I bought this property, and then I went to go say hi to my friend, and then like it was like nothing, just because I've done so many now, and I can say that I've only been able to do so many because of the influence that I've surrounded myself with, and by joining the group, because the group is hyper focused on learning more, right? It's education, it's knowledge, which then breeds confidence, which then leads to action, which gave me the results that I was ultimately looking for. But knowledge, confidence, action, results, it needed to start with that knowledge. I had confidence from other things that I've done, but if I wanted to get to that next level, I knew I needed to join something that pushed me to that next level. And this community was exactly that. All right, let's see. Do we have any other questions? Or Scott, do you have something you'd like to share?
No, no. This has been an amazing property tour. It's actually been so much more than a property tour. As you know, Home, there are a lot of people on today that have never been to anything in our community. They're just coming out, checking this out. They're taking a look at this property tour. They're listening to what you have to say. Obviously, you talked about a lot of key things, and your relationship that you've built have been amazing. I mean, that's, the fact that you've, been very transparent and talked about how, you know, a lot of people have a mindset, I call it a mindset, where they see this and they're like, I've done some deals before. What do I really need? What do I need this group for? Why do I need to get more education? Why do I need to get more knowledge? And you're a perfect example of like, hey, you were already successful when you found this group. I mean, you were already doing deals. I think if I heard you right, 10 years ago when you got started.
Correct. So 10 years ago, I
Yeah,
started real estate investing. And then five
right.
years ago, I joined the group.
Yeah, I mean, so and we have story after story just like yours that somebody's already done 100 deals, they've done 50, they've been very successful, and then they come across our community, and they're like, well, wait a minute, I can leverage my relationships. As you indicated earlier, you found a lot of your private lenders from within the community. You
Correct.
found you found your contractor that you really obviously you've hit it out of the park with this contractor. You
Yeah.
found even tenants that are actually helping you pay your mortgage and increasing your equity in your assets.
Yeah.
And that's all come from the community. This has been such a great property tour. I'd love to have you out again later in the year. Show us another one of your deals. I thank you for sharing your YouTube channel and your website there. It's just been, the comments are coming in right now just about how fantastic it's been, and we really appreciate you. And I do want to remind everybody on that we're getting ready to start in about 10 minutes. If you want to learn more about a lot of these things that Hoan's been talking about today, we actually have a business introduction meeting that will tell you more of the who, what, when type things. It's a different link than this one. So get back to who invited you, and they can get you set up and get that to you, and you can plug in. But Hoan, thank you very much. I've taken away a lot of golden nuggets myself from today, and I appreciate you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. This was a lot of fun.
And let's see if there's any final questions besides all the great comments. Thank you. Great tour. Yuri had a comment. People don't realize that they will pay for education. I think somebody told me that a long time ago. That's called Hard Knocks.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yes, and I've experienced some of that in the past as well, so I can relate to that very much. But again, Hoan, thank you very much. If you want to leave us with any kind of a final remark or comment before we kind of end the day, it's all yours. Wrap it up.
All right. So you guys came on here because you guys wanted to learn something. And there's a there's plenty of information out there. I put plenty of free information on my YouTube channel if you guys want to check that out. But ultimately, it comes down to you. You just have to believe that you can do it. And I'm not anyone special. I didn't even like real estate, to be honest. Like I said in the beginning, I didn't even like real estate, but I chose it. And when you choose something and you choose it powerfully, you can get it accomplished. Real estate is not rocket science. It's actually really simple. If you're interested in becoming a real estate investor, just do all the things that you need to do, and you will become that investor. Whether it's talk to more sellers, talk to more lenders, know your strategies better, whatever it is, just keep on doing that day in and day out. You don't have to spend 8 hours a day on it, but do spend some time on yourself, improving yourself every single day, and you will become that investor. Again, it's not rocket science. You guys got this. It is easier than you think, and it may be a little harder than you think, but it's definitely easier than you think as well. And it's being able to live in both worlds and both extremes that will make you great.
Well, thank you very much. And again, everybody have a great weekend. We'll look forward to seeing you next Saturday. We'll be coming to you from Hawaii. So I'm like super excited to see the team in Hawaii sharing their deal. So you guys have a great weekend. Hoan, thank you very much. And we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
All right, guys. See ya.